Hey everybody, Professor Griff with the glasses today. So I delayed the recording till Friday night, thinking, why don't I do it after PT at least on that kind of schedule. Still playing with this, trying to get it on a good schedule where fits for showing up on recordings and there's things to talk about. So I'm gonna do my pronation, supination stretches and everything while we're doing this. Um, One good thing I could do, I can show you today. It We've been doing Gralston, so they take a big metal, just big piece of metal that formed for your shaped for a grip, so they can really work on the scar tissue. In my case, most of the scar tissue up here from the elbow and up was really pretty good, and really right below the elbow as well. But down here at the bottom, where you can see, is just going to be kind of red and might be kind of hard to see in the video. That was where they had sutured it in kind of a big knot. Um, we were wondering when we were doing it today, like maybe there was like a mole or something there. Um, so yeah, there's a good chunk of scar tissue there that's really been worked down using the. It's not actually a Gralston technique or tool, but there's very little difference. Just a big metal stick that they can just really lean in. The PT physical therapist can just get in there and just fuck you up good. I'd had one person I'd been corresponding with before it happened. That's like, yeah, they're gonna do that Gralston. It's gonna hurt. And it does hurt, but it's one of those things. It's like it hurts and you see there's progress. The nice thing is, this is maybe the third, could be coming up on the fourth week that we've been doing it with the metal tool, and the first week we did it, it was it was pretty sore and banged up and basically a big bruise, and a lot of it you could tell it was bleeding inside to some degree. And then the second time it hadn't really like healed from that, and that time it we ended up with like some scabbing and bleeding on that big gnarly spot near the bottom, near the front of the near down here, and that didn't even heal by the next week I had come in. And she's like, oh, this is still like scabbed over and stuff. So she tried to work around it and such, but I mean the nature of what we're doing is that she's gonna have to just work on it some more anyway and work around it, and try to be nice to it. But we're taking a big metal rod and just ramming it across this tissue and breaking it up. So kind of is what it is on that. Sorry, Dag. And I don't care. But I think it's definitely something that she's nervous about. Always asking, does this hurt? Is this too much? No. But I can understand that it could absolutely be too much. Maybe I'm just a toxic man. Like, I don't hurt. Pain don't hurt. That's right, Patrick Swayze. So, then the next week she came in. She's like, "Oh, it's getting a lot better." And I had kind of loofah'd it and stuff to try to get the scab. I didn't want to pick the scab off, but I wanted the scab to kind of like quickly work its way off of there. And this week she came in and she's like, "Oh, it's looking a lot better." So basically, the progression you get from these stories is, at first it was like devastating. Even though you're getting progress, it was devastating and a lot of scabbing and stuff. And now, a month later, basically it's healing up by the time I go in for the next week's procedures and everything. So that's good. All that's to say is, like, at first it's kind of dire and then it builds up into a much better condition over time. This was an evaluation week, so we did we checked my pronation and my supination. So she's like, hold out your hand, and she's like, and she measured it. She's like, yeah, you're doing great. That was the only thing. Apparently, I don't feel like I was directly told this, but my supination was kind of poor. But now it's supposedly 100%. I had done a questionnaire about, like, how are you doing around the house with chores and opening pickle bottles and things like that. And we did another one this week. She said, actually, you scored your self evaluation has you more disabled this time than you were last time you took it. I said, yeah, honestly, I think when it comes to these self evaluations, it said like, did you have any problem opening like a jar or something? And I was like, well, there was a thing. This is a salt thing, but there was a jar of mustard at my in-laws, and my wife was like, can you open this thing? And I thought it was a flip top, but when you flip topped it, it had a seal inside. So I was like twisting and twisting. I was like, this thing, what the fuck? And I finally looked, and it had like a really hard to see plastic wrap around it. So I was like, oh, and it just opened up. So when the questionnaire said, have you had a hard time opening anything this week? I was like, yeah, technically, 2 out of 5. Not really, but I did have a hard time. But probably the time before that, when I filled it out, I was like, did you have a hard time this week? Well, I didn't open anything, so no. I really feel like it needs an answer that's somewhere between 0 and 1. I believe they're 1 and 2, but it doesn't really matter. Between no problem and light problem, there's like, well, I didn't have no problem, but I certainly didn't have what I would consider a problem. And so she's like, yeah, overall your evaluation is that you're like 87% recovered. I'm like, wow, that's like pretty big. I kind of waffle at home when I do. I was going to grab a weight, but it might be kind of weird fit it on screen here. But I can do a 20-pound weight just fine. I find that this arm is maybe still, at this point, it is like again becoming the stronger dominant arm over the left arm. The left arm is maybe has more endurance. This arm will get kind of tired quicker, or there's like aches and pains that come with it. But it's actually like kind of easier in the long run. It's really like complicated as I'm switching off. But I have been doing concentration curls and lots of bicep stuff this week on my own with the free weights. I've been slacking on my my push-ups and stuff for my arm. I'd like to get some kind of exercise that really like challenges this arm. I push in on the shoulder here, feels pretty good. And if I don't do that, I get like a pretty big pop. That's not, I wouldn't say it hurts, but it's like comp. You're like, oh, is that a bad thing? Good. Actually, it's almost gone there. So that would be the thing I was building up to, is that whatever is wrong with this arm, it tends to work itself out if I have to move it more. It's almost I don't think frozen shoulders is like the correct thing, but there's something going on there where I need to do like my push-ups more and like work it out, or have something when I'm walking down the street, do like windmills or something when I go on my walks. It would be smart. I feel like it's I think I don't know what the issue was. I don't think there was really anything coming up before my injury, and then after the injury, I feel like I didn't do much moving for like 2 to 3 months, and intentionally. Some of it was like injury, and some of it was recovery, and some of it was PT focused on one thing and not another. So I gotta get back into doing my supination, pronation, like you take like a big hammer or weight and like turn it. I'm already doing my curls all the time. I love doing my stretches, especially with the like extra torque. You could pull it towards the pinky, whichever way you're going, towards the pinky, and it makes it a stretch as far as I'm concerned. It basically wasn't a stretch anymore. The range of motion had gotten so good. We got some Resident Evil 8 footage up. I'm actually watching it myself out of the corner of my eye, make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Really cool stuff. Craig just blasted the game. There's 2 videos, maybe an hour and a half each. Energy and excitement is really good. So there's a lot of commentary and joking and talking. And if things go well, we should have a Return to Castle Wolfenstein. A return to Castle Wolfenstein on Sunday. That would be cool. Um, and we're gonna have another Resident Evil 8 video going up. I have a surprise video coming up with some River City Ransom with CDMW 66, who haven't had a video from him in forever, probably since the lockdown started. So that'd be really cool. I played through Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That game. I really like Rise of the Tomb Raider, the first one. I believe that's what it's called. Might have just been called Tomb Raider. That first Tomb Raider reboot, I had heard all these kind of conflicting things when I played it. I was like, oh, this is actually like a really good game. So I was jazzed that I'd been gifted a free copy, and I threw it in. I played through it, found all the crap, and then played through it on the hardest difficulty, which I don't think was hard. I think it was annoying. I was really arguing in my head like whether it was hard. I think technically it's hard because it's not easy. It wasn't like it was hard because they set up a difficult challenge. All they did was make it so that at some point, if you die, you go back to the last time you sat down and saved, instead of having some checkpoints. They even kind of break that rule at one point. They throw you a checkpoint, which was good because they throw you a checkpoint after you go through a long series of like combat and stuff. And then suddenly everything's collapsing and she has to run and jump and do these quick time events. And I was like, I'm running down the road in the game and it was like, I'm going to jump and swing on that thing. Oh no, they want me to swing on that thing. And that's the other thing they do on that difficulty is they take away the color coding in the world that tells you that it's an interactable object, which is basically like whitish lines they put on stuff. They just take that out on hard, which if anybody's played the game, man, maybe do a whole video on it, like, or something at some point. Is that game is not great. I call it like a modern day Jalico game. Jalico made games that I kind of liked and I played through, but they had these flaws. They had like 1 foot in like the C grade tier and 1 foot in like the good tier. And you were like, what are you doing? Just don't make it bad. And that's a big deal game. Has tons of money behind it. It was a sequel. So it should have been iterated and improved on by then. But this video is going far too long as it is anyway. Some stuff coming. Would be great to get some more Castle Wolfenstein, get that knocked out one of these days, and move on to another game because that game was pretty neat. Hello, Bella. Come on in, buddy. You gonna be on stream for us? Hi. Yeah, look at that eyeball. Oh, I love it. All right, man. Let me get off here. There'll be more Resident Evil coming. I'm gonna put up those River City Ransoms with CD, and I don't know when I'll record again. I definitely like the Friday idea because I come out of the PT and I have things to talk about there. Maybe during the week I'll record one of these when I up something, so there's something to talk about there. Like, I just put this up, or I'm about to put something up. Either way, hey, you're back. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe. It really helps. All that stuff helps. Thanks.